Hey everyone, so this is normally a music review channel, but I also want it to be a place where I can talk about all things music and spice things up a bit. So while I'm working on my March listening diary, I wanted to get into something else that is a big interest of mine, and that's physical music, vinyl, and stuff like that. And so getting into my vinyl collection, I had the idea where I could go through my collection five at a time, like selecting five albums that have something in common, and that might be in the genre of the album, in who made it, in something about the packaging or the color of the vinyl, and that's what we're going to do today. Today I'm doing what I consider to be the five most unique colored vinyl in my collection. And when I say that, I don't mean in just like in relative to all the vinyl in the world, but more like relative to others in my collection. So in case you couldn't tell, I'm trying to make this like less scripted, a little more casual. I'm not sure if it's working. This is a work in progress, but all right, let's get started. So the first one I'm doing today is Will Wood's The Normal album, shirt related. Got it right here. And I've been a fan of Will Wood since like spring 2020, so like just before this album came out. And I ordered this edition of the vinyl. Here's the inner sleeve. And if you were to look at this closely, there are pictures of the faces of some of the people who supported the album's fundraising Indiegogo campaign. And I am not there because I did not know he existed when that was happening, but cool opportunity for everyone. And the vinyl itself is on this green color with black wedges on it, which I think is really fascinating and certainly looks beautiful, I think. And another interesting fact about this release, and in fact all the first edition physical releases of this album, is that there are actually like certain codes on the packaging and hidden in the songs themselves, only on the physical edition, that were used as clues in part of an ARG that was connected to the album. I don't think any of the websites for that particular endeavor are still running, but it was a really interesting thing to participate in, and let me tell you that. Okay. And I've also got another release from Will Wood here, back when he was working as Will Wood in the Tapeworms. And this is Selfish, his more experimental rock offering from 2016, but this is a repress from not that year. I don't remember. I think this was 2020, 2021, but this was advertised as the Paisley Explosion vinyl. I'm sure you can see why. And it has like this confetti look to it, and I remember when I received this album, it actually came with confetti in the box. I don't think I saved it. That's a bad decision on my part. But yeah, take a look at that. Slightly translucent, except for the splatter. Alright, so when I get the next one out, it's going to be the only one in this set of five that isn't a splatter vinyl. Get some variety in there. Okay, see, the thing about doing these unscripted is that I have to think of something to say while I'm struggling to get these back in the package. Alright, so here we have Stomach Book's self-titled album, and this is an incredible record in my opinion. The artist's debut album, and I mean, I guess it's an emo album, but it's such a cavalcade of sound and emotion that it's really hard to categorize as just one thing, honestly. And I like that this edition is this really bold red and yellow split vinyl that complements the red and yellow in the album cover. And I'm really really happy to own this, and I hope I get to see more from that artist soon. So for the next one I'll be opening up, I'll be delving into a interest of mine that I don't think I've talked about on this channel yet, which is Vaporwave. I had some involvement in the Vaporwave scene a couple of years ago as both a producer and as a fan, and it's a little bit put on hold for the time being, but I do have a lot of fond memories of that, and I hope maybe I can return to it, and I still enjoy listening to Vaporwave. And this is, in a sense, a Vaporwave album. This is Crystal Sun. Yes, I got that right. Crystal Sun by Lost Cascades, and it's set up as the soundtrack of a fictional video game. And it has this very calming style and playing on a lot of like nostalgic video game aesthetics. And the vinyl is this slightly translucent light blue with white splatter. And I was part of the fundraising campaign for this album. But nothing like, not like getting my face on the record or anything like the normal album, but I got the record out of it, so, you know, nothing to complain about there. And Lost Cascades is only one of several names that this artist works under. They're a very prolific artist in the scene that also like runs a record label and a lot. Cool person. And now we've got clippings, Visions of Bodies Being Burned. Here we are going from like one of the most relaxing records in my collection to clipping, so it tells you something about the direction this series is going to take, I think. And what we've got here is this almost clear vinyl, if not for these purple splatters here. And which I think is an interesting choice, you know, like purple for this album. And if you want something that matches the title of Bodies Being Burned, like there are editions, earlier editions of this album that resemble like Fire or Smoke, or if you have a Discogs account in a Dream, you know, you can find those. But I am very proud to have this purple vinyl. And if you'll give me a second, I'll show you the gatefold of this record too, because it's one of the few that I have that is, I believe you would call this a triple gatefold if it doesn't just fold out one way, but also this way. And you've got these images on the inside here that are like stylized to look like crime scene photos, but this one is actually the track listing here. Alright, so that is the video. It is time for me to watch it and try not to cringe at myself, but keep an eye out for the rest of this month. End of this month or beginning of next month, you'll see my March listening diary, and I've got a couple other videos bouncing around in my head. Got some partially finished scripts going for another full-length album review, and I'm kind of bouncing around a script based on hyper analyzing a certain clipping, song, and music video, so I'll get to dive into more my appreciation for that group in the future maybe. But yeah, stick around for my March video. I think I cover a lot of interesting stuff there, and I'm happy to this is going to take some getting used to. Alright, well, I'm happy. Thank you for watching, and I'm excited to continue this series later. Alright, thank you. Goodbye.